I don't know. They call me D, and in all my time watching football, I just keep hearing offense sells tickets, but defense wins games. So, hey everyone, and welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Adia Randall, but you can just call me D. And welcome to the Defense Wins Games podcast. I am so excited about this first episode. This is our first ever episode, and I just want to be able to give you this great podcast, and I hope that you guys enjoy it because I'm going to enjoy making it, because I have wanted to do this for so long. I have been stopping myself from doing this just because I was in my head. Nobody's going to listen to it. Nobody's going to care. And it's time out for that. To do what I love, to do what I enjoy, do what makes me happy. That's where I'm at. And so I was doing a little research, looking up different sports podcasts, different NFL podcasts, and just kind of seeing what people were doing, what people were putting out for people to consume. And it all kind of sounds the same, kind of looks the same, and I look nothing, think nothing, sound nothing like what most of those podcasts look like. And I'm okay with that. I have made myself or learned how I would just be different, always unique, and I'm excited to lend a unique voice to what people are listening to about NFL news and sports news. One of the best pieces of advice that I was given was from my professor, Vicki Michaelis, at the University of Georgia, where I got my degree. And she told me that, as you go off and try to find a job in sports media, just know that you don't look like most people who are in that, and people who you're competing against. You're not going to sound like them, you're not going to look like them, but you can still do it. And just lean into being different, lean into being unique. And I really took that and I ran with it. And so I really want this podcast to be unique, to be different, to not look or sound like anything else that's out there. I want this to be a very different podcast. So I'm very excited to just continue to give you me and give you very much authentic D. So a little bit about me is I'm a sports writer right now. That's my day job, and a lot of times I'm looking up NFL odds and updating to see what the odds are looking like. So I will be incorporating what the NFL odds are looking like. So if you're into sports betting, then I got you. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about breaking news and big stories and what's going on in the NFL. I want to tailor this more to the NFL because that's what I love. But if it is a sports story that's just super huge, but I got to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. I'm not an NBA girl, so I can't give you much. Not going to sit on here and play with you. But we're going to talk about all things NFL. A little bit about how the structure of this podcast will go is I'm going to kind of run it like a game. So we'll have 4 quarters, and every podcast I'll bring 4 topics to you, talk about them, and discuss my opinions, what I think, and hopefully I can give you a halftime question to get you to engage and tell me what you think, and just tell me what you think about whatever I say. This podcast, I'm going to just do 2 quarters to talk about 2 things because I spent some time telling you about myself and what we're going to do to get this podcast rolling. So we're just going to touch on two topics, a little half a game real quick in my first podcast, just so you can fill it out, see how I'm giving you this content, and we can test it out. So, with that being said, let's get into the first quarter. Like I said, we're only going to talk about 2 things because, right now we don't have much to go off of we're crossing our fingers and hoping that this NFL season happens. It's gonna happen. They're gonna put those boys out there on the field, well, those men. So today, right now, first quarter, we're gonna be talking about Cameron Jarrell Newton. Cam to the Patriots. When I heard this news, I was like, what? What? Like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about, bro?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But yeah, I was like, no way. Cam to the Patriots, what? I wasn't upset because Cam got a job, because I was still like, hello, every team needs a Cam Newton. Every team needs a quarterback like him. Well, not every team, but there were some teams that needed Cam. So I'm like, why doesn't he have a job yet? But to the Patriots, it was more like, do Patriots fans always get nice things? Because they couldn't go like a season this century, this century, without a viable quarterback option. Like, really? And so, like I said, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion that may not be popular, it may not be common, and my perspective, which may not be popular or common either. When I heard Cameron going to the Patriots, I initially thought black men going to this team where a lot of their fans are not particularly going to jump up and down about having this very loud black man. So, and like, Cam is a black man, like not ambiguous, not Pat Mahomes. Shout out to Pat Mahomes, I love him. But he's black. This man has clumps of dreads coming out his head right now. Like, what is going on with his hair? But he's black. So this fan base had a quarterback that had the MAGA hat in his locker for years, a couple years, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a really big shift. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they react to Cam being their quarterback. Because especially right now, we are in the middle of racial unrest across the country, and the NFL is definitely going to be protesting. They're definitely going to be having social justice statements. Like, it is definitely going to happen. So what are Patriots fans going to think when Cam Newton comes to the podium with a shirt that says, "I'm black, stop killing me," and or, you know, "Y'all tripping, I'm black," or, you know, something. I'm just saying, what are they gonna do? Like, are they gonna be okay with that? Like, is that gonna be an issue that he is, because he's gonna kneel? I mean, he has to, right? He's gonna kneel. Definitely some fans who are against him kneeling that are Patriots fans. And then he's gonna have reporters every time he goes to the press, like, "Why'd you do this? When are you gonna do that? What was this for? What is this about? Hey, like, you're the Patriots quarterback." You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing for them to put Jarrett Stidham from Auburn University up there because it's too much noise going on. You know what I'm saying? And then Jarrett's just gonna mess up because Jarrett's not gonna do well at all. Like, Jarrett Cam, like, what? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's gonna be what is really, really important with this move, is how this is gonna affect the fan reaction, just the news around Cam being the quarterback, and what media outlets are saying, or anybody that's in, you know, New England is talking about this black man from Atlanta as their quarterback after having Tom Brady. Is such a huge difference. Like, not only are they different quarterbacks on the field, they are different human beings. And Tom was there for so long. I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out. Speaking of men who get on white America's nerves, Watch the transition. Watch the transition. Michael Vick. I was watching Undisputed. I love Undisputed so much. Watch it every day. And they were talking about Cam moving to the Patriots and him getting, the money that he got. Because he got like $1 million a year, like less than $500,000 guaranteed. Like not a lot of money for a quarterback. And they were saying, well, Shannon was saying that he thinks it's kind of racially motivated. Like, why are they giving this black man such little money? And at first, I really wasn't there for it. I was like, no, like, he was hurt. Maybe they just didn't want to do that. And I still don't really think he was racially motivated because at the end of the day, you have to think that Tom Brady, he got a pay cut to make sure their system ran the way it did. He wasn't getting paid the amount he should have been getting paid for him being so great. So Cam getting a little bit shorted is not really that big of a surprise to me. But I brought this up because Michael Vick was on Undisputed and he had the audacity to go in there and try to say that Cam getting that little money is just like when he got back to the league and he got a little bit of money. First of all, before we even get into his situation, this was like 10 years ago when Mike Vick got back to the league. And if you don't know how caps work, they literally grow exponentially every single year. So nobody's going to get as much as they got in 2010 that they got in 2020. Like, that's why these quarterbacks keep coming with huge with bigger and bigger and bigger deals, because literally nobody, it grows every year. Like, you're not going to get the same money, duh. So anyway, that's just that. But two, Michael Vick, you went to prison. For 2 years, you were in prison. Like, you going to prison for 2 years to be out of the league, and Cam being hurt for going too hard. Not the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, the only reason why Michael Vick was even back in the league was because Donovan McNabb was the man in Philadelphia, and he put in a good word for Michael. Like, let's not get it confused. Donovan McNabb loved you, and he got you back in the league for a second chance. And everybody knew that you didn't reach your potential because you were just supposed to be so great and take the Falcons to a Super Bowl, but you didn't. If I didn't tell y'all before, I'm a Falcons fan, and it hurts. But anyways, I think that that's going to be very interesting to see how Cam works out in New England. Like, how will this play out? We're going to be keeping our eye on that. We're going to be talking about that later, I'm sure. So, we have to talk about Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. You know, we have a little thing we're doing this show, quarterbacks and their movement in it. This is also one that I was not particularly happy about. One, because now the Falcons have to play Tom Brady 2 times a year. Well, 2 times this year, because he signed like a 1-year deal, right? I still have not gotten over the hurt and the pain that I dealt with on February 5th, 2017, when Tom Brady broke my heart and beat my team in Super Bowl 51. I'm still not over it. So every time Tom does something, I'm just like, can you please like just retire already? Like, leave us alone. Okay, great. Leave us alone. But I do understand he wants to prove people like me wrong, because I'm going to be completely honest. I am one of the ones that's like, he was in a great system. He had a weak division, easy schedule. You know, it was a pretty easy path for him to be the greatness that he was. Like, not taking away the fact that he's a great quarterback, but he had a pretty easy path to get where he was. Let's just be honest. So I put out this poll because I wrote a story on Tom Brady, and the story was, you know, do you think that Tom Brady will have a better season this year than his last 3 years. Of course, not like really success wise, like go to the Super Bowl and win it, because he'd have to. I mean, he'd have to go to the Super Bowl and win, because that would mean that he would be the first quarterback to take their team to a Super Bowl that's hosted by them. So they're gonna have a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. If they go to the Super Bowl, that they'll be the first team to play in their stadium for the Super Bowl. Thought it was gonna be the Falcons, but we got a terrible season. Anyways, it's not about us. So that would be pretty impressive. He'd have to win a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay for him to have a better successful season than his last 3 years. But I was talking more statistically, because I was looking at his odds and his bet lines for like passing yards and passing touchdowns are higher than he's produced in the last 3 years. Why? Because they're on, sports books are on the hype train of Tom Brady's about to go to Tampa Bay and try to prove everybody wrong, so his stats are going to go through the roof. I put that out there on my Instagram and I asked my followers, do they believe it? And 68% of them said no. We will see if we were right. I don't believe it either. Passing yards, I mean, he's going to have Gronk again, like I said, and I just think it's going to be very interesting to see if he can really, truly produce. I want to see that. I want to see if he can produce. I want to eat my words. I don't want to eat my words, but I want to see. This is going to be so interesting to see. I just can't wait to watch this man play, honestly. My eyes are going to be glued to the TV. They have a hype train going on right now. I think right now they have the 5th closest odds for them to win the Super Bowl. They're behind the Saints. They're behind the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Saints, the 49ers. I don't think that they're going to the Super Bowl to win, but I mean, if they go to the Super Bowl and beat somebody like the Ravens or the Chiefs again, that will be really interesting. So let me know, y'all. Do you think that Cam is going to have a better season or Tom's going to have a better season? I want Cam to have a better season, of course, because of my own feelings. But Tom might have a better statistical season than Cam, because I'm kind of worried about Cam if he's still hurt, like how he's going to, But, so here's my thing. I think that Tom Brady will have a better statistical year, but I think that Cam might have a better record. Because, again, I am definitely somebody who believes in the system of the Patriots. So I think the Patriots may do better as a team, but Tom Brady might do better as a quarterback against Cam. So I think that's what's going to be very interesting. So you tell me what you think down below. Thank you for watching my first ever podcast. I hope you enjoyed Defense Wins Games. I enjoy giving it to you. So be sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you're watching this visually. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Defense Wins Games for all the updates and clips on my podcast. You can follow my personal page, adia.ayana. And thank you for listening. If you're listening, thank you for watching if you're watching me. And I am so excited about this journey that we're going on with this podcast. And I can't wait to see you guys next time.